Hello, I'm back. I moved and it took forever and it was a lot of work. It was like wedding. We went to a wedding. A few days later, we got home from a wedding. A few days later, we found the apartment I'm currently standing in. We toured a bunch of other apartments at the same time, and then we signed the lease, we applied the same day we saw it, and then got approved, and then they gave us 2 weeks. We moved in. We packed for 2 weeks. We moved in. The rest of our roommates moved out. One of them didn't move out till the end of the month when our lease was due. So then it was we moved. We had one big weekend of moving ourselves, one weekend off, but then 2 weeks of having 2 apartments and therefore 2 sets of tasks to do across 2 apartments, and then 1 week of what's it called? The next weekend after our free weekend was still a lot of cleaning and organizing. Then we had to go clean the whole apartment and get ready to actually move out and help our roommate. And then we had maybe 1 weekend here, but my friend came, and then we went away for a weekend for a wedding, and now we're back. So life has been lots of things in a row, and hobbies such as ASMR have had to fall to the wayside, but I'm back for another little yappy, don't look at my sports bra, yappy AveSMR, where I'm going to talk about myself and my wedding. Oh my god, she's in a white t-shirt, she has her white ribbon in her hair. She's going to talk about her wedding? Of course I am. Of course I'm always going to put on my single white shirt when I talk about my wedding. Gosh. Right. Oh, something that was just sold today from not the merge, watch Too Much Survivor, from the move, was when we were in Colorado for the last wedding we were at. I had a realization where I was like, where's my backpack? Wait, I don't know where my backpack is, which would be fine, it's just a backpack, except for I was like, my wedding band is in the backpack, and I haven't seen that backpack for a couple weeks, and that's, not the important part of the ring, but it was we need that to be wed, theoretically. So I had a couple days of being oh, pretend my fiance's car, it's not in my car, it's not here, it's not there, and I just found it when I got home from work. I checked the back of a closet in this guest room / office / ASMR studio space that I'm in, and I was like, oh, thank God. So hopefully that is the last trial and tribulation of our move, but back to excitement. I did something super self-involved at the office when I picked my wedding venue, which was put up pictures of all of my things. My phone just buzzed, and it buzzed because me and my fiance are running for America's Favorite Couple, so I'm gonna put that in the description, and maybe if you wanted to vote for us for free with your Facebook account, that would be really cool. I don't know when it ends because we're number 2 right now and the rounds keep going, so vote right now. Anyway, I did this self-serving thing where I printed out all of the places we had toured and I put them up in the office, and I let my friends go through and decide which ones they would do and give me their rankings, which was really hilarious, and have them all guess. And then I did I put them all up on a whiteboard and ripped them off and revealed the wedding venue. And it was kind of crazy because I had all of my team, and then also all of my bosses and other supervisors showed up for this event I threw, which was goofy. But I have the papers here, and so I figured maybe I could go through all of the venues, tell you all the positives about them, and then I'll shuffle it up, and then I will pull out, I'll put the reveal at the end, and we'll reveal all of them, and I'll tell you why I didn't pick them, and goodbye. So that's what we're doing today. So, and these are in order of when we toured them, and we toured, I think, 10. There's a lot. So first was Rincon Beach Club, and This was like a beach venue. You can see it had like space for an outdoor ceremony. It was on the beach, so you could also do the ceremony at the beach. And then it had an inside and outside bar. Kind of a tight-ish capacity for what we were potentially looking at for our capacity, but you know, fully catered, really great staff, lovely people, very helpful. So that was that one. And then next we went to Mara Villa Gardens, and this is in a similar area, and you can see it has the similar tent frame, which could be tented if it was going to rain, and everyone split the costs for that. And then it also had this lovely like separate ceremony space up a mountain, and it like overlooked this like big field that was like actual like grew vegetables, and they had a lovely get ready space on site, and yeah, it was good, and it was great with our capacity. Outdoor dance floor, catering covered. Lots of these are like small families. This was like a family owned business that's been passed down for a couple generations, so it's cool. And then we went to Calamigos Ranch. So the first two we did in one day, back to back, and then Calamigos Ranch was just one, and we looked at their largest venue. I'm realizing all of these pictures are outside. This is where our ceremony would have been. The like twinkly, twinkly, twinkle lights coming down from the trees, and this like elevated ceremony space. Yeah, so yeah, and then it had a really big inside. There were two different venues we were kind of looking at. Within that venue, they have 3 venues on site. It's kind of like a big resort campground / private club thing. There's like a pool. Interesting. And then we went a little bit farther away for the next two, and we did these two without my fiance. Actually, those were all, he only got to go to the first 3. Yeah. So the next two were in La Jolla and San Diego, and they were both Wedgwoods. I need to turn this on. Let's turn it pretty. These were both Wedgwoods, and Wedgwood is like a company that will kind of just cover everything that you need. You just kind of pick out like X, Y, and Z that you want. Like they have like a person who coordinates for you, and you just like choose from a list of what you want, and they set it all up. So it's pretty easy, simple. And so the Curvier, is a French name, I can't pronounce it, had this lovely outdoor garden space. Also, it was by the beach, so they had an option for doing a beachside wedding. And then they had this inside venue space for the dancing portion of the evening. So it'd be like ceremony outside, cocktail hour, like in this area. Yeah, pretty good getting ready suite, and Wedgwood did make everything pretty simple. And the other Wedgwood, also in La Jolla, beautiful La Jolla Cove rooftop. It's just one big rooftop, huge view of the ocean. You can hear the seals going. They have this one tented area, and then they can lay the tables out. Beautiful bar area. Yeah, also a Wedgwood, so lots of stuff included, lots of help. And then the next day we go to Padua Hills, which has quite a few locations. So there is the overview of this, what's it called? The valley, a large valley, for the ceremony with this arch that you can deck out with flowers. They have, it's a converted theater. So inside the old theater is converted to a dance space, banquet hall with a lot of really cool lights. You can get bubbles on the dance floor. They said their food is amazing. I suppose maybe everyone says their food's amazing, but they were like, oh, the chefs choose to get married here, so supposedly their food's amazing. And then like a garden and just like a beautiful outdoor building because it's a historical site. Yeah, so you can just have a bunch of different spaces to utilize throughout the night. And then finally our last tour was the Roosevelt Hotel. The Roosevelt Hotel. The Roosevelt Hotel. And you can get married on the roof. Our party is too big to get married on the roof, so we would be in this large ballroom, and we would for a party as large as ours, you would get married in the lobby. They'd shut down the lobby. You'd get married in the historic Roosevelt lobby, and then after the lobby, you'd go into their like tavern bar, which is really cool. And it's where Lindsay Lohan had her 21st birthday, so lots of history at the Roosevelt Hotel. And it's this like cool kind of like dive bar-y spot, or like not even dive bar-y, but like kind of like a speakeasy. That's the correct word. And then what else? After the speakeasy, and then you go into this large dining room for dancing and dinner and hanging out for the rest of the evening. And this is where the first ever Oscars was held, and Marilyn Monroe lived at this hotel. That was kind of why I chose to tour it, is because my friends and I went on a ghost tour that was here, and we are convinced we had a seance, or not a seance, but we used a swinging pendant to try to talk to Marilyn Monroe's ghost. She said she actually did like Joe DiMaggio, so that was cool. So I was just like, oh, there's so much like LA history and cool stuff, and I want to get married with Marilyn Monroe's ghost there. So that's why we toured the Roosevelt. So those are all the places. Put in your guesses. I'm gonna start shuffling. Hold these facing myself. I'm gonna explain the cons of the location, and then I'll flip around to reveal where we are not getting married. So, with glorious views, but only one real spot for the wedding, and also a little too restrictive on our wedding guest count, we decided not to get married at La Jolla Cove. Okay. Next, a beautiful flow. For a long time, we thought we were going to choose this place because it had great guest capacity. It had a lovely flow. It was beautiful. We felt very connected to nature and outside, but it just wasn't as great as a competitor against what we actually ended up finding. It is Marvilla Gardens. We are not getting married at Marvilla Gardens. This venue has, I believe, 6 weddings a day. It feels very chaotic. It feels like being at a summer camp. It's a little too big, a little too grandiose. And also there was like a Ferris wheel, but you couldn't get on the Ferris wheel, and then you could like pay $400 to put lights on the Ferris wheel, but like you can't get the Ferris wheel removed, and like I wasn't that impressed by the Ferris wheel. So we're not getting married at Calamigos Gardens Ranch. Calamigos Ranch. They're all a garden, or they're all a ranch, you know? Okay. This one offered a beachside ceremony, which we realized was a logistical nightmare. And then the inside portions, the garden and the areas where we were dancing were just too cramped and nothing very wowing. And it was far away from home. So we are not getting married at the Curvier Club. Another reason we're not getting married there is I'm dyslexic and this word is French and I can't deal with that. Not getting married there. This location has absolutely no outdoor spaces. It's in the middle of Hollywood, which is not a great place to be, and it's overall pretty ugly. I'm so sorry that was mean, but in my opinion, pretty ugly. The Roosevelt Hotel will not be the location of my wedding. This, even though we enjoyed the tour and had a great time with the team, is also a pretty cramped space. We were interested in it because of the beach ceremony opportunities, but that is, again, a logistical nightmare. No matter how you work it out, it's a pretty big logistical nightmare to get married on the beach, especially if you have a pretty large group. So for that reason, it's also LA or California beaches are all public, so there's no guarantees that there won't just be like a dude in a Speedo hanging out 2 feet away from you at your wedding. So for that reason, we are not getting married at Rincon Beach Club. And where we are getting married has beautiful outdoor spaces, has an amazing dance room, has a wonderful family that runs it, is uber duper flexible with our number that we are not quite sure where it's gonna land. Awesome DJ team, and just overall gorgeous vibes. It is Padua Hilliard. So that's where I'll be getting married. I don't know if that could dox me or in any way harm me, to tell the internet. So please be cool. Don't try to ruin my wedding. I'm just a girl trying to think of ideas for her ASMR channel, and this was pitched by my friends, so I'll blame them if my wedding is ruined. But yeah, 10 wedding venues is a lot to tour. It was an exhausting. We did it all in like 3 or 4 days. But I'm really excited to see where we end up, and thank you for listening to me. Yeah, but this is like the 3rd time I've done this. And that's a call from my fiance, so I'm gonna go, and I hope you have a good day.